I clutch grandmother Lila's hand-knit scarf, rubbing the soft yarn between my fingers as if somehow the texture might summon her spirit back. The funeral parlor smells like artificial flowers and furniture polish. I've tucked myself away in the corner chair, watching my family perform their version of grief. Mom dabs at her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief, letting out occasional theatrical sobs that echo against the mahogany paneling. Every few minutes, she slips to the bathroom, emerging with freshly applied mascara and her phone clutched in her perfectly manicured hand. The soft click of her camera captures her sorrowful pose beside the gleaming casket for her social media followers. "This lighting is terrible," she mutters, reviewing the photos. Dad stands near the entrance, his voice rising as he argues with the funeral director. "These charges are completely unreasonable," he snaps, tapping furiously at his phone screen. "My stock alerts don't stop just because." He glances around, lowering his voice. "Just because we're having a family situation." Family situation. That's what death is to my father. An inconvenient interruption to checking his investment portfolio. My brother Cole slouches in a chair across the room, head bent over his phone, thumb scrolling endlessly. The glow from his cryptocurrency app reflects in his glasses. He hasn't looked up in 20 minutes, not even when distant relatives approach to offer condolences. I close my eyes and remember the weekends at Grandma and Grandpa's house. The smell of cinnamon rolls on Sunday mornings. Grandpa Walter teaching me to change the oil in his first delivery truck. His hands steady as they guided mine. "Hadley girl," he'd say. "Knowing how things work matters more than knowing how to buy new ones." A tear slides down my cheek. Real one. Later, we gather in Aaron Feldman's office. The family attorney's wood-paneled sanctuary is lined with leather-bound law books and the faint scent of pipe tobacco. Mom immediately claims the central chair, arranging herself like she's posing for a portrait. Dad stands behind her, hands on the chair back, assuming the position of authority. "I was thinking we could list the Harbor House immediately," Mom says, inspecting her nails. "The market's peaking, and that view will fetch a premium. The boat should sell quickly too," Dad adds, nodding. "And those antiques." "Let's not get ahead of ourselves," Cole interrupts, actually looking up from his phone. "I've already got buyers interested in Grandpa's truck fleet. My startup could use that capital." Aaron clears his throat, silencing the vultures. He looks at me briefly, something unreadable flickering across his face. He pulls out a thick document, placing it deliberately on his desk. "As executor of Walter and Lila Monroe's estate," he begins, his voice formal, "I'm required to read their final wishes exactly as written." My family leans forward expectantly. Aaron adjusts his glasses and begins reading, his tone measured and precise. Legal phrases wash over us until he reaches the critical line. He pauses, takes a breath, and continues. "I hereby bequeath my entire estate, valued at approximately $31.5 million, to my granddaughter, Hadley Elizabeth Martin." The silence that follows feels like the moment before a storm. I blink, certain I've misheard. "The entire estate," Dad repeats, his voice dangerously quiet. "There must be some mistake," Mom says, her social media smile vanishing. Cole stands abruptly. "What did you do?" he demands, glaring at me. "How did you manipulate them?" The accusation stings worse than if he'd slapped me. "I didn't," my voice catches. "I had no idea." Aaron raises his hand for silence, then reaches for his computer. "Walter and Lila anticipated your reaction. They prepared this." He turns the screen toward us. Grandma and Grandpa appear, sitting together on their porch swing. They look tired but resolute. "If you're watching this," Grandpa begins, "then our decision has come as a shock to some of you." Grandma's gentle voice continues. "Gregory, Serena, Cole. We've watched how you speak about us when you think we're not listening, how you plan for our money while we're still living." My throat tightens as memories flood back. Being dropped off at their modest-looking home, which apparently concealed millions, while my parents attended networking events. Teenage me helping Grandpa maintain his small fleet of trucks that were apparently the very foundation of a shipping empire. Grandma teaching me to bake, to garden, to live with purpose rather than pretense. Hadley is the only one who ever loved us for ourselves, Grandma says, her eyes welling, not for what we could give her. The video ends. Aaron closes his laptop with quiet finality. In the parking lot, Dad corners me against my car, his breath hot on my face. "You'll transfer control to me tomorrow," he says, voice low and dangerous. "You can keep 12%. "Darling," Mom coos, appearing at his side, her concern as manufactured as her grief. "This kind of money requires experience to manage. You simply aren't equipped." Cole looms behind them. "Remember what family loyalty means, Hadley. Remember who takes care of who." I grip my keys tightly, feeling the metal bite into my palm. "I need time to think," I manage, my voice trembling but firm. Dad's face darkens. "Remember who owns your apartment building, Hadley. Remember who can make one phone call and leave you homeless." They walk away, a united front of entitlement. I stand frozen, keys digging into my skin, the weight of $31 million and my grandparents' trust pressing down on me like a physical force. Got it. I'll polish and punctuate this section just like I did with the first one, keeping it in the same cinematic/screenplay style flow. Here's the fully revised version. The new security system Aaron installed activates. Red indicator lights blinking along the perimeter, trespassing prevention measures. I explain quietly. The property is now monitored by multiple cameras streaming to a secure server. Mom gasps dramatically, clutching her chest before slowly sinking onto the manicured lawn. My own daughter treating family like criminals. The crunch of gravel announces new arrivals. Miguel approaches from the side of the house, carrying a leather binder. "Miss Hadley, I've brought the complete inventory of household items as you requested, with provenance documentation." "Miss Hadley." June's compact figure appears next, her gray hair neatly pinned back. "I witnessed them taking items after the service," she announces loudly. "I've provided a sworn statement to Mr. Feldman." A silver sedan pulls up behind my family's vehicles. Evelyn Park, Grandpa's business partner of 30 years, steps out, followed by 5 longtime Summit employees in company polos. "We came to show support," Evelyn says clearly. "Walter and Lila built this company on integrity. We stand by their wishes." Aaron's BMW glides to a stop next. He exits with a leather portfolio. Perfect timing. I was just coming to update Hadley on the restraining order, but since you're all here, I can serve these papers directly. Dad's face reddens as Aaron approaches with documents. Mom remains sprawled on the grass, her theatrical collapse forgotten as she watches the growing audience with calculation in her eyes. From the street, a cluster of people gathers, neighbors, friends of my grandparents, watching quietly, lending me strength I didn't know I possessed. I step forward. "This ends today." My voice carries across the suddenly silent driveway. Every word spoken here is being recorded, every action filmed. You've shown who you really are, and now others are seeing it too. A news van slows at the property entrance, its logo visible on the side. "Who called the media?" Dad snarls, his composure cracking. "We did," calls Mrs. Henderson from across the street, waving her cell phone. "Neighborhood watch. We look after our own." For the first time since Grandma's death, I see real fear in my father's eyes. He glances at the growing crowd, the cameras, the papers in Aaron's hand. "This isn't over," he mutters, but he's already retreating toward his car. Mom miraculously recovers from her fainting spell, hurrying after him with one worried glance at the news van. Cole hesitates, looking at me directly for the first time. Something unreadable crosses his face before he follows our parents. That night, I stand alone in my grandparents' bedroom, untouched since their passing. Grandma's knitting basket sits beside her reading chair, needles protruding from an unfinished blue scarf. Grandpa's reading glasses rest on his nightstand, folded neatly beside a half-read mystery novel. The grief I've been holding at bay crashes over me. I sink onto the edge of their bed, clutching one of Grandma's knitting needles. I don't know if I can be what they believed I could be, I whisper into the emptiness. Dawn finds me still there, watching light gradually filter through lace curtains Grandma made herself. Something settles in my chest. Not peace exactly, but resolve. Later that morning, the team gathers in Grandpa's study. Aaron with legal folders, Marcus with financial projections, Evelyn with summit operations reports. I take Grandpa's seat at the head of the table, no longer feeling like an imposter. We need comprehensive plans, I tell them. Not just defending against their attacks, but building something sustainable. I've prepared injunctions against further legal harassment, Aaron begins, sliding documents across the polished surface. Marcus taps his tablet. I've secured the accounts and investments with additional verification protocols. Summit's employee meeting went well, Evelyn reports. Once they understood your commitment to maintaining operations and jobs, morale stabilized. We're not just defending, I say, echoing Grandpa's steady voice in my memory. We're building. Soft knock interrupts. June enters, carrying a dusty cardboard box. Found this in the attic storage. Thought you should see it. The box label in Grandma's neat handwriting reads simply, "In case of Gregory." Inside lie decades of meticulously organized materials. Letters, recorded conversations, financial records, dated and catalogued with my grandmother's characteristic precision. At the bottom, wrapped in acid-free paper, lies a small leather-bound book. My breath catches as I gently lift it out. Is this what I think it is? I whisper. June nods, her eyes knowing. Mrs. Lila said you'd recognize it when the time came. I hold Grandpa Walter's original business ledger from 1962, the founding document of Summit Freight, containing the legal framework that would make challenging the will nearly impossible. Our meeting adjourns with new determination. For the first time since the inheritance bombshell, I feel not just Grandpa's backbone but my own.